Catching up with Sarah and Ginny, fueled by laughter and insights aplenty. Curiosity, connection, and learning that sticks. Real talk, real lives with practical tips. Welcome to Catching Up with Sarah and Ginny. Come on in.
Hello and welcome again to Catching Up with Sarah and Ginny. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Ginny. Lovely to see you.
And I'm looking outside. It's a lovely, bright day. Not a cloud in the sky. The sun is shining. You know, it's
I wish I was where you are then, Ginny. Not quite the same here.
Oh, well, so everyone can tell we're not in a studio together, are we, Sarah? In fact, how many miles apart are we? Hundreds?
Well, okay. Anyone that knows me, Ginny, will know that I have got absolutely no idea of geography. So I came back last week, which luckily at the last minute I checked the destination of the place. I assumed it was in Sheffield. I don't know why. I think because somebody had mentioned Sheffield along the way, and it was only at the very last minute that I checked it was Nottingham, which I thought that was fine because I thought they were quite close to each other, but they're actually not. They're an hour away from each other. So no, I'd say, well, I'm in Cornwall, which is and the bottom of Cornwall.
You're in the bottom of Cornwall, and I'm Northamptonshire, so I'm the tummy button of the country. But Sarah, that must be why you and I get on, because I have got no geographical gifting in my life.
No, but also, Ginny, not only have I not got I've not got anything to do with any measure. So it was my son's birthday, and he's got a thing about seagulls, and he had this little seagull that he'd won, which was probably about this size, and he asked for his birthday for a little friend for the seagull. And so it was one that he'd won from a arcade machine, because obviously I do the lovely parenting thing of making sure we go to lots of arcades. And so I'd ordered one on Amazon, and it wasn't very expensive, this seagull. But when it arrived, it's about this big, which is lovely because it's now a parent.
Can I just say, for people who are not watching, the original seagull was probably the size of somebody's hand. I'm just doing it like
visual.
that. Yes. And then the one that Sarah's just said is probably 3 hands tall. No, 2 hands, 3 hands tall.
Yeah. 3 hands tall, I'd say. So for those that are, which, is quite interesting as he because I look at them both now because he puts them on the stairs quite beautifully. And I'm like, how did I not know that they were completely different sizes? And actually my partner's like, how did you not even dimensions wise? But the numbers mean nothing to me. And I'm sure Rod Jennings and Dyscalculia Man and talking about maths and our kind of the way we think in numbers and shapes and words, it's that important thing about how we all think so differently. And so I might assume that you think in a similar way to me, or you might say, how far is something from you? I might give you an answer because I think you want to hear an answer. And then you'll be thinking, well, why would she say that? That's not correct, but it's what happens.
We're quite a long way away from each other, and now I'm just laughing at the conversation that we've just had, Sarah. We have not used any standard measurement there. A hand high and 3 hands high. We haven't gone down the centimeters or inches or anything, and we're going 1 hand high, 3 hands high. And do you know what? We're both quite happy with that.
It's easy. And I can understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Even though your hands and my hands are probably a different size.
I know. But do you know what? We know what we mean, and we're quite
understood.
Happy. Absolutely.
But the best, well, there you go. So that's always a good introduction, isn't it? When we start, I love the fact that neither of us use standard measures. And actually, even when you were talking about it, I was trying to think of some standard measures, and I'm like, oh no, let's not veer down that path.
No, definitely not. So, Sarah, what has been your wow moment recently?
Oh gosh. So a wow moment is lots of training, but lots of interactions, I think, for the past few weeks. And I think my wow moment has been about the importance of our interactions with others and how, because obviously for a bit of time, we went to a lot of training being online. I do lots online, love online, and you just work differently to have those interactions, and you have to create opportunities for those interactions. Then you kind of have those face to face moments, and you see a lot of people very quickly, or you get to
Yes.
meet a lot of people very quickly. And it just made me remember, and probably made me think, which is very similar to you, Ginny, about how I've become quite skilled at shifting things very quickly from one interaction to another interaction. And actually, how we take it for granted that that's something that we can do very quickly. And often, you know, if you've had a lot of time on Zoom, you've not had the chance to kind of like home in on those and practice those in the same way when someone's in front of you, you do. And there's a lot of discussion currently around homeschooling, around children being out of school, missing school. And it made me really think about that importance of those interactions, and how we must never forget the power and the kind of importance that they play in. And I know in my journey since getting out and doing presentations in person again, that kind of power that's given me to home and understand myself and what I'm talking about, and thinking around some of the learners that I've been either talking to staff or talking to learners or families about making sure that we're really aware of the power of the classroom for that, the power of the groups for that, and that we prioritize that as part of that curriculum that we're trying to make sure that learners achieve and are part of, is the interactions. And I think I'd forgotten a bit about that. I think a lot of these discussions around children being out of school has been centered around obviously their learning and what's important for them currently, and how we can, but we've got to make sure we're constantly still thinking about how can those interactions be kept up, and how
Yeah.
can we make sure that that's all part of that package
Yeah.
around everyone, around us, around each person. Because actually, I've had a couple of weeks that are quite tricky. And I think without my interactions with you, Ginny, they're not in person, they're via FaceTime. And with some other people, if I hadn't been having those, I think I'd have been very lost. And so making sure that we're aware of how we can feedback and support and get our learners and get our other people to understand the power of just interacting with people. There you go. Well, that was my wow for this week, is that,
And,
you
mm,
forget.
and I think the power of and we do this quite a lot, Sarah, the power of
Yeah.
the WhatsApp um
The
voice message.
gifts, the gifts and the
The
voice
gift
notes, the voice
and the
notes.
voice notes
Yeah,
are, I think, are so important because a voice note has a tone. It rather than typing.
yeah,
Um, I think there's a lot. Well, I think there's a lot that could be unpacked about when we speak to somebody or when we record it as a voice note, a voice message, as opposed to just typing something. But it's really interesting because my wow is not dissimilar. My wow is about meeting up with other educators and having
yeah.
that face to face. And last week I met up with two different educators separately and went out and had a meal.
Nice.
It was me with another educator and chatting over a meal, chewing the cud, kind of, and it's
Mm.
being able to talk about topical things, about being reassured, and also I think the power of just speaking to one person.
Yeah,
I find this more and
yeah,
more that
it's true.
if
Yeah.
if I go out in a group with a lot of people,
Mm.
it can be quite, I'm saying choppy, that isn't the right word. Whereas actually to be with one person and just to have that uninterrupted conversation is so important. And
Mm.
I also think these educators that was talking to, they aren't direct, they're not Senkos. They're in education, but in different aspects of education. And I love that, Sarah. I love having conversations with people who kind of tell me about their work, but then about how our values align. You know, I find all of that. I don't know. It kind of fills my
It's
cup.
nourishing. Ginny, it's
Mm,
nourishing. It's so cathartic and it's so important. But you just then you have really made me think as well. I often talk about the power of our learners understanding that the things they say are important to be written down or to be recorded, or that that's why we write, and thinking around, you know, the words matter. And actually, how wonderful to think about having a system in our classrooms where we've got little voice notes that learners can give to each other. Doesn't have to be through WhatsApp. We're
yeah,
talking about assistive technology,
yeah,
universal design for learning. Actually, every day, maybe we have a couple of the little talking tins or a couple of the little ways that we can record our voice, that we'll do a couple or put them somewhere for someone else to get at a different time, that they can listen to and then respond to. Gosh, the power of that. Well, you've got
the
my
power.
mind
I was going
thinking
to
now.
say the
Yeah,
power of it when we have individuals. You know,
yeah,
sometimes in classrooms I've seen what they call worry boxes. Put your worry in
yeah,
here. Actually, for an individual, if that was their chosen way to record how they're feeling, you know, that is another way to open that up to more individuals. So yeah, I think this power of the voice, you know, as
yeah. A
yeah,
massive way, a
or a receiver.
medium. Hmm?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
But
is
even just that about the worries, you know, to put all your worries in here, actually often, gosh, I've just watched something really interesting on Netflix recently, but it was this the a girl, one of the things, the girl was in there, she went into a, I think it's called, oh anyway, Wayward, I think it was called, but the girl was put into a home for other children who had behavioural needs, and she kept saying to them, they kept telling her she had to read the journal, she had to read the manual of all the things that she had to do while in there, and she kept saying, I have dyslexia, and it was kind of, so that wasn't the part of that wasn't the point of it, but it kept coming back to, they said, oh, and make sure you read it and make sure you read it. And actually, we often think, well, you can write down your worries or you can do this. Let's make it universally available by having a little worry talking in fact, they must be, I'm sure they're out there, you know, not talking tin or a little talking way that we can put little talking cards, little talking postcards. You get those, actually, record it on, pop it into the post box.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah.
Oh,
Whoa, whoa. Our minds are a whirring.
they're
I don't know
whirring.
what whirring, whirring. Wow, wow. Oh gosh. So let's move on to, have we got a song for this week, Sarah? Or are you just
I'm
is it
wowing
just
now. Yeah. I'm wowing about the things that we can have.
yeah.
Don't Stop Believing, Journey. And I
Oh,
think that's my song because we can't stop believing. And I think that's what makes some of our conversations really powerful, Ginny, is that each little thing makes you go, oh, we could do this. And it's when you stop believing that actually it's probably time for you to go and get a different job. Because actually, and I often say this when I go in and particularly when things have gone wrong, and I'm sure you have the same kind of situation, Ginny, when things have gone wrong, it's nobody is meant to do this. No one has gone into a situation, a school, a classroom, a meeting to say, I'm going to make this as difficult for everyone as possible. Because genuinely, that's not how we are. You know, we are going in to try and solve or to try and protect ourselves, maybe, which means we have to keep a certain viewpoint, because actually to keep ourselves able to do a role, we've got to put things in a certain way. And so it's that, don't stop believing that there is a way forward or there is a positive kind of solution to things. And it's just a case of, as you always say, maybe getting beneath the armor a little bit
mm,
and just finding out what the motive for that view is, or that behavior, or
yes.
that, and the strength of the power behind it generally comes from, you know, the need to get somewhere that they feel is where they should be going. So don't stop believing that you can all get to a place together. There you go.
Oh my goodness. Whoa,
Sorry about
Sarah.
that. What's
I
that?
mean,
What about
I
yours?
woo! So mine is Rod Stewart. I am sailing,
Nice,
which is I am
nice.
sailing, and it through the dark night, and it's
Yeah.
just in many ways not dissimilar. It's
Mm,
to be near you, to be free, and it's just kind of there are, whether you are a child, a parent, an educator, when you just have those moments when you just go, this is hard. I don't know how I'm going to get
mm,
through this. And I think that then goes back to, doesn't it, having the the
mm,
the people that you can talk to or that talk to you, and it's about having people that you trust, and those people that you go to support you, that won't judge you, but will help
mm,
you through. I mean, it is through kind of through the dark nights. This has all gone
mm.
very deep and meaningful, hasn't it, Sarah?
It's all gone for. Do you want me to bring it back with a book?
Bring it back with a book. Yes,
Shall I bring
please.
it back with a book? I'm going to
Yes.
bring it back with an Elvis Presley book.
Ah,
Uh, because lots of different reasons, actually. I went to see Lilo and Stitch recently, and Elvis makes an appearance in some of the records that are being played and some of the soundtrack. And I think Stitch actually has on a little Elvis outfit at the end of the film. But one of the things that I talk about a lot is about making things accessible, making them meaningful, finding out what a young person's interested in, what they want to know more about, because that's your trampoline, that's your jumping point to the next bit of learning. And my son loves Elvis,
yeah.
and I- I've actually known quite a few children that liked Elvis, and it was always an odd one, really. It's like, where's that come from? I guess it's a very, if you listen to when you listen to the music, actually, and also it's the look, it's lots of things about it.
Mhm.
But I was looking for ways into gaining information about a topic that's interesting, and this was a little board book for a baby, and
Ah,
it's
ooh.
basically what every child needs to know about Elvis. And it just made me think, because it made Elvis accessible to everyone. So it's just got on every page, and it just got, Elvis Presley was called the king of rock and roll. But actually, this, because when we're thinking about those older learners who are still needing a way in for,
Yeah.
for information wise, it, yes, there is an issue obviously with, for some children with turning pages as well, because
Yeah.
actually that makes it really tricky. So board books, the reason we have board books for younger children is because they're easily to kind of turn. And if you're an older learner with kind of dyspraxia, fine motor, gross motor issues, you're going to miss the story because you can't turn a page one by one. And then it
Mhm.
makes the book. So you've probably learned just to avoid books. So it's like, how do we make them accessible but also meaningful? And I was like, this is quite a lot. I quite like this.
Like
It
that.
gives you a way in. You can create your own little version of it. And each kind of page has just got a thing about Elvis loved fried peanut butter and banana sandwich. There you go. A fact
They
for you.
There we go.
I'll leave you with that. Back to you,
I
Ginny.
love that. So let me tell you a couple of facts. So when I taught nursery, we often did dances to Elvis songs. We we
Love it.
we absolutely loved it. I sent a letter to the postman. I still remember the little actions we did. So that was brilliant. When we were on
Nice.
holiday this year, we were in a cafe with our dog, and another dog came in, and sat next to us, and our dogs were sniffing each other like they do. And then someone said to their dog, Elvis, stop doing that. I was like, oh, they've called their dog Elvis, right? And then I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and they'd gone into the cafe before us. They left before us, and I said very loudly, Elvis has left the building. And I just thought, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. It was a little Scotty dog, this dog called
I love
El.
it. Elvis left the building. I love
I,
it.
just- I loved it. I loved it. But now I have a question for you about this, Sarah.
Go on.
Is there in existence? Because I think this episode we're talking about things that we can utilize, things that are they there already
Uh-huh.
available. Is there a blank like cardboard storybook that children can kind of populate themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
oh
don't make me move, Ginny.
oh this is
Oh,
you see, every day's a school
goodness
day.
me. Every day's school day. Yes,
Yeah.
please continue. Obviously,
Oh
there are many types of books. Yes, go on.
yes. So is there a well, I'm saying, is there a blank cardboard type book template that you can then add your story to? Like some, I'm thinking the Elvis story, I think is
Mm.
brilliant as a cardboard book. So does something like that exist, Sarah?
Yes, things like that do exist, but also you've got loads of digital things. You've got the book creator, you've got all of those great apps. This actually is one that I've used really successfully, which is kind of a bit of a bigger version than that from
Yeah.
TTS. But look, you've got pages that you can put your own stuff in, and then you record underneath. So you actually record.
Oh,
So I'm just
wow.
showing basically and they'll record their voice, and then each page you press the button. So page 6, and it'll play what's going to be on page 6. But of course, you can do this in so many different ways. You
Wow.
can have, but there are cardboard. Yeah. So I mean, again, you would find out what the what motivates them, what one that could be the choice
Mm.
of
Can I
what
just
they do and what they.
Can I just explain what you were holding up? So Sarah was holding up like an A4 folder, which had like similar to Polly Pockets in it,
Yeah.
then with buttons at the bottom. Were there about 20 buttons? Were there about 20?
26, I think.
26. Each were numbered. So I'm guessing each page with the Polly Pocket, you
Yeah.
put in your picture and then you press the numbered button for the page to record
Yeah,
what you
record.
want to record for that page. I've never seen
Yeah.
that before, Sarah.
But that exists in many different kinds of versions. I
Oh,
mean, you can have that but also you could create it yourself quite easily by getting the little recordable, so TTS also do, I mean, other companies will do it as well, but the little things that you have, like a postcard, that you just have a little recording button on it. See, again,
I
Jeannie, I was going to get up and get that. But if you tell me next time you're going to say these things, because there are many. And now I would say that actually we're talking about that importance of recording the voice. And I think it really does
Yeah.
work really well. But you can record your voice, and now actually, of course, with electronic things, make these little voice memos really easily
Wow.
on things. But that's a really nice way. But of course, you've got things like living paintings. Have you seen those books that
Ooh,
for visually impaired, and you can actually feel the whole book? So they've got the color monster. They've got so many different books. Wonderful.
wow. Wow. Oh my
I
goodness.
digress.
I
What's
mean,
your book, Ginny?
the thing is, when Sarah and I do a podcast, we do not know what the other one
They're the
is
same.
going to say. So hence Sarah has gone to a bookcase to pick things up because we do not know what the other person is going to say. So right, I'll move
Uh,
on to my book. Oh, go on, sorry, go on.
but Ginny, just thinking, do you think that's noticeable? Do you think people could tell that? I'm not
I
sure. Not sure.
I can't possibly comment, Sarah.
No.
No, I couldn't
Anyway,
possibly
your
comment.
book.
I did, you
Your
know,
book, Ginny.
my book. Oh, I love this book. The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DeCamillo.
Oh,
It is a beautiful, beautiful book. And it is oozing with empathy. And it's all about this character of a rabbit and his journey.
oh,
And it is just it just helps the individual as they read it to
oh.
feel alongside the rabbit. And when I've had this in my class, I've had a toy rabbit that they take home with them as well. And it is
Right.
just a beautiful, beautiful
I've written
book.
that one down.
It's a
Love it.
beautiful book to immerse the reader in the life and the turbulent
Nice.
times of Edward Tulane. And he wears this beautiful velvet suit, and he has this watch, and you can just the imagery that it makes in your mind as you read it is amazing, and it's a book that
Love it.
I read over and over again, and it's just one of those ones that you keep your copy close to your heart. And I have my sticker on the outside so that people can borrow it, but
But
then
make sure.
it always comes back to me. That's a little top tip someone once told me.
Yeah.
They said, never write your name inside a book. Always have the sticker on the outside, because then it is
Oh,
more likely to come back to you.
oh, I like that. Oh, very interesting. Oh, I think I might try that one actually. That's quite a good one. Oh, I love that, Ginny. That looks like I've written that book down now. That's going to be another one that I'm going to need to add to my collection.
And
Loving it.
Kate DiCamillo, I read this, and then as we say, you find an author and then you
Yeah.
keep reading their books. So yes,
Yeah.
I happened upon this, and then have read lots of her books
Lots on
now.
that.
So yeah. Do you know what,
Like it.
Sarah? I think we've both learned so much from this episode.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
madly writing down, books that we've recommended, things that we've
Nice.
spoken about. I mean, what I brought to the party is stick your name on the front of your book, and it's more likely
Oh,
to come
stick
back
your name
to
on the
you.
front of anything. Yeah.
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 Yes. Yeah, just stick your name on. And what I did was, mine say Mrs. Bootman, but you'll know this top tip. You cut the Mrs. off, and then it can just be your surname for any members of your family. So I do that as
Yeah.
well.
Nice.
So think
Nice.
brollies. We don't often
Nice.
lose a brolly because they have Bootman written on them.
Oh, I
Just
like it. Yeah. Yeah.
many,
Yeah.
many
Yeah. I
things
like it.
come back to us now because of that. Well, thank you so much for just
Wow.
I was going to say star-studded, but I think it's just the glimmers. Well, they're not
Yeah. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
glimmers,
The glimmer of
more than
things.
glimmers.
Yeah.
You know, um, I
And
just
I
love.
mean, like, just thinking of it, like, takeaway wise for me, just that importance. Just thinking about that little Elvis book. It's sometimes when I go into schools, and I can't say it enough because it's one of those bugbears of mine. Maybe we need to make that a little segment as well.
Mm,
It's that kind of thing around. People always say, "Oh, well, we're doing this book, but it's going to be too difficult for some of our learners to access. So we need ones that they can access. So what ones could they access?" Or this topic, instead of doing, Elvis, maybe, they're gonna be studying something around Peppa Pig or whatever. And it's like, actually, you can get anything, you can make anything accessible. There's usually a resource somewhere. That was on the World of Books, which I love, the secondhand book thing. Um, and now with AI, again, you can just pop it in and say, give me, I think I've said previously, Stig of the Dump. Someone said we need to do Stig of the Dump. We've got a class for a special school, really complex learners, Key Stage 4. How am I going to make it accessible? I just asked it, ChatGPT, make it inclusive, accessible. And it just gave me all these fabulous ideas. And so it's like, when it's that cluster reading as well, or reading around a topic, or just having those things, if you're going to be studying around maybe that period in history, or that you would just have these things around for learners to pick up and discover, but they can independently look at that themselves.
yeah,
And I think that's my key takeaway really from that, as well as
yeah,
voice notes.
yeah. I think mine is just about being open to different ways
Yeah.
of doing things. Just not being blinkered, but oh, I hadn't thought about that. Let me just stop and
Yeah.
consider that before I may dismiss it, but I just need to percolate. I think I'm all about the percolation, Sarah.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit
Yeah.
about the percolation before you do something sometimes as well. Give yourself
Yeah.
a bit of percolating time before you press send.
Yes. Oh my
So
goodness.
that's the
Yes.
other one.
Yes.
That's
There
the
we
other
go.
one.
Well, Sarah, thank you. It's just been a joy, this episode. It's been absolutely brilliant. And as we say, always a pleasure.
Never a chore. Absolutely never a chore, Ginny.
Never at all. Never at all. Okay then, bye for now.
Thank you. See you later. Bye. Thanks for joining us this time on Catching Up with Sarah and Ginny.
Always a pleasure and never a chore.